Doing a real quick video on how to change front brake pads. This is a 2001 Saturn SC1. Almost all brake pads are the same, but we'll do a real quick video, show you the specifics of what you might be getting into here and what sort of tools you need to use. First thing we're going to do is jack up the car and make sure you have a secondary support, whether that's another jack or a jack stand. And we'll pull this tire off. With the tire off, we can see the rotor is exposed. We want to check that for any real bad pits on both the front and the back side. This is our caliper. This is what holds our brake pads inside here. So in order to remove this one section, the center section of the caliper, there is a 14 millimeter bolt here and a 14 millimeter bolt back here. You can typically just use a socket wrench. Sometimes you might need to give it a little bit of a hammer. Cracked that loose. Loosen up the one on the other side. Make sure our socket is on there good. There might be lots of dirt and dust packed onto the head of that bolt. So we'll pull these bolts off and we should be able to remove this center section of the caliper. Just a peek at what these bolts look like when they come out of here. If you can, there's only two, keep track of them and put them in the same hole that they came out of. As you can see, it's threaded here, and the rest is a pin that this will slide back and forth on. So we'll set those aside somewhere clean, and then with just a screwdriver or some sort of pry tool, we can pry the center here of the caliper off. And voila, inside we see this is a cylindrical piston that pushes out from the fluid here when you press on your brake pedal. Now you might want to have some sort of wire or something. I use these little hooks so that we can set that up out of the way and not have it hanging on the tension of the brake line. You can use wire, coat hanger, anything like that. From there, we'll give another quick inspection. And so we can see our pads sitting on a brake rotor like a bicycle tire, and the brakes will squeeze on it as this piston pushes on this one side. So we can see how much brake pad we have left. And then we can just pry these guys out of here. Again, you can use whatever tools you might need, as long as you are careful not to damage the rotor. So when we take these out, we'll take note there's this little spring guy sits on the back side, and you want to have your new pads out and handy so that you can compare them to these old ones as they come out. And we'll take a look at our new pads and our old pads, and we can see how much they're worn down and make sure that they are the same. Not necessarily identical, but definitely the same shape and footprint. Once that has been confirmed, they really do just slide in here really easily. Now, most kits that you get, you'll get a lube. We like to put that lube down here and up on this top. Scoop it in these grooves here, because there's a little bit of motion back and forth as those pads, as pressure is applied to those pads. I like to test fit them, make sure that they're fit and all is well. And then we'll go ahead and lube them up, and we'll press the cylinder into our caliper and set that back on. Now we take our brake caliper down from there, and there's specialty tools for this task, but most of the time I've found I can get away with using a good pry tool. I used an old pad up against the cylinder. And we just want to push that cylinder backwards. Apply as much pressure as we can and hold it there. And we can see, I don't know if you can see in the video, but the cylinder here slowly move inwards. Once we've reset that piston as far back as we can get it, should fit right over top of the new ones. I'm going to line up our little boots here for our caliper bolts. And now these are slightly different sizes. One is larger than the other. So if you didn't keep track of them, they shall only fit in one spot. Slide our bolts back in there. Make sure to start our threads by hand so we know all is well. And then we can go ahead and start tightening those up. Those two bolts snugged up, our brake pad replacement is complete. Now to reinstall our tire, which in this case we're going to be putting on our winter tires, and then we'll set our car down, make sure we torque up our lug nuts in 100 or 150 kilometers or so, and that will be the job. With our brakes changed and our new front tires on, we are ready to take this SC1 for a test drive. Make sure all is well with our braking system. Hopefully this video has helped you, give you the confidence or a quick little look at changing the front brake pads on a 2001 or similar Saturn SC1. Take care, tune in again.